Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my podcast and potentially YouTube channel if you are deciding to go ahead and watch us in person. So, my name is Casey Faith, and I have the honor today of interviewing one of my top performing, both historically and currently, sales queens. That would be Miss Kaylynn. Miss Kaylynn, go ahead and say hello.
Hi, I'm Kaylin, and I am from Alaska, and I just moved down to Reading and got the opportunity to meet Casey and join her little crew, and it's been great. So,
So fun. So I want to share the story behind how we got connected. So I happen to live with an incredible woman named Deanna, and Deanna called me one Sunday morning and she was like, "Oh my gosh, I just met someone who you have to meet. She is amazing." And she said that she's beautiful and she's entrepreneurial. And I don't know if I told you this, Kayla, but she was like, she's pretty much a mini you. And
that's
I
so
was like,
funny.
"That's so sweet." But I was going on 3 weeks of no Sabbath and I was exhausted. And so Deanna wanted to bring Kaylin over for breakfast that morning because she had so much excitement about connecting Kaylin and I. And I couldn't even keep my eyes open. So I was like, I don't think that's gonna work out. But so essentially Deanna gave us each other's numbers and Miss Kaylin here texted me couple times before I was able to get back to her. And we finally connected. I was driving to LA and I'm like, "Hey girl, I have half an hour. Let's jump on a call." She's like, "Okay, great. Right now?" I'm like, "Yes." Boom. So we're on the phone. I did not know that Miss Kaylin was interested in my sales queen opportunity. I just thought it was a connection. And so at that point, my world was flipped upside down in the best way because I saw her verve. She was already texting me a couple times. Deanna said that she's beautiful. I'm just going to tell you, if you show up presentable in sales, it increases the chance of you selling. And
It's true.
yeah, and so I was like, I definitely want her on my team. This is incredible. And so Kaylin has come along and she is absolutely a godsend. I call her a lioness. She's a queen. Countless times she has outsold me. And right away I was like, oh my gosh, how is she outselling me every time? And now I'm just so I'm honored that God would send such a gift and so proud of her. And she's helping me essentially develop my sales queen program. So this woman is incredible. And I'm so glad that she is willing to allow me to pick her brain a little bit and interview her. And so a big part of what we're going to talk about today is actually how not only she's a sales queen with Beauty Is, but she also endeavors to become the next Miss Alaska. And I know that that's going to happen as both her sales coach and also her beauty coach, kind of stepping into that space a little bit. And the biggest part, which we've been talking about as we're doing our planks and doing our workouts before we go door to door, is belief. And so I'm like, I know that you're going to be Miss Alaska, and she's believing that too. And so, ladies and gentlemen, say hello to the next Miss Alaska. So, Kaylin, why don't you go ahead and share just a little bit of your why behind what has inspired you to want to run for Miss Alaska?
Yeah, when I think I was like 19, I just like had this like really big desire to like do it. And I just like didn't really know why, but I was like, you know what? That just sounds like so much fun. Like, why not? And I didn't really have like a really big why, but I think as the few years have like progressed and I keep like still desiring to do it, I think I just like the idea of being an advocate for Alaska and just showing that like Alaska girls aren't only like beautiful, but they're also resilient and resourceful and just like really bold and confident and kind. And I want to be able to like show that we're not just up in the ice cold state, but we're also have like a lot to offer. And I just think that would be such a cool opportunity. And even if whatever happens and I just get to like do it and just meet all these crazy, amazing people, like that's a win for me. So I'm excited. I really am like looking forward to it, to finally doing the thing that I've been wanting to do for years now. So
I'm already proud of you, Kaylin. Just like I say, when we go door to door, by nature of you showing up, you're already winning. And I love your heart. I love your why. I actually don't know if I've heard the totality of that there. So it's not only are Alaska girls beautiful, but they have brains and they have grit. And that is what Kaylin is going to be putting on display, which is why she's going to be the next Miss Alaska. She's very intelligent, you guys. She's also going to tech school. And there aren't many beautiful, communicative, entrepreneur type women in the tech industry, as far as I know. So she is a walking rarity. And I'm just so proud of her. And yeah, and so thank you for that beautiful introduction for why you want to do Miss Alaska. So we're going to go ahead and talk a little bit about her experience door to door. And so what we recently unpacked, her and I, is that when you go door to door through my sales program, your why is extremely important. Now, part of the proceeds that Beauty is creates through sales, we are already giving to support rescuing women out of sex trafficking. So that's a cause that you will already stand with by nature of being a part of the Beauty is sales program. So that's pretty cool. But when you go door to door, when you stand in front of a brand new person every time, what is your why? People want to know what has compelled you to come to their doorstep, what has compelled you and given you the energy and the inspiration to go door to door. It is impressive. And so your why and really who you are is what's going to produce the sale and the result of the candle sale. And so for Kaylin, she it's almost like it's entrepreneur practice when you partner with Beauty is. And when you have a business, you want to know what your end goal is and then work backwards and develop a plan, a very specific strategic plan for how to get to your end goal. So in Kaylin's case, what we're doing now is we're actually seeing Miss Alaska as her end time goal, and we're creating action steps, breaking down what it's going to look like for her to achieve that goal in real time in the month of November, in the month of December, in the month of January. Does she need to hire someone to actually create a gown? Is that what girls who have won have they done that? Or maybe is this a Holy Spirit idea? We're going to sit with the Lord with that. Or she's thought about potentially hiring someone to help with or a dance class, and that could potentially help her model walk, so kind of outlining exactly all the things she has to do and then creating a game plan going back. So for my listeners on the other side of this, my future sales queens, perhaps you're not running for Miss Alaska, but whatever your why is, you want to know what that is and then work backwards, create a clear plan in order to achieve that goal. So Kaylin and I right now are all in with Miss Alaska. And honestly, I'm excited as well to be able to run with her during this because I'm like, I want to train to be a queen. Like, I'm going to go through the questions with you. I'm going to do the physical training. I don't know that I'll hire someone to make a gown for me, but it's fun. I'm totally, totally in with this. And so, Kaylin, what what do you want to share about anything that in real time that you and I have chatted about with in terms of your preparation for Miss Alaska?
Um, just like what we've been doing or
Yeah, like how
like
you're feeling about the next steps with your process, your road to becoming the Queen, Miss Alaska.
yeah, I think what's honestly the craziest thing and something that I love about the Lord is he's so, I can't say this word, strategic. Did I say that right?
You did.
Yes. Okay. So he's so, I can't say it again. I got it one time. And literally last week I remember I was literally sitting and praying and I knew I'd already brought this up to you that I wanted to do this, but I was like kind of just getting overwhelmed because it's a big process. It's not something that you just do, like you said, you kind of need to have like a system, and honestly, results are only as good as your system that you have. And so I'm sitting there and I'm like overwhelmed. I was like, "Ugh, Lord, I know you could do this for me. I know you could be my pageant coach. You could be my designer. Like, I know you can do that." But I was like, can you please send me somebody to do that for me? And I just remember literally like with not even with like a week later, you telling me like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this for you." And it was like literally being my pageant coach and like semi designer. And I was like, what? So I just think that like it's crazy that the Lord had already set this up in advance, but then as we've been going door to door, it's cool to see somebody more excited than I am pushing me to do better. Because not all the time do you get somebody cheering you on like that. And so it's been cool to be like, okay, Kaylin, like, what should you be working on? Like, what should we start at? And like, kind of like getting the ball running and like for me and not just like kind of like being idle. Um, and so it's definitely like pushed me like, okay, I do need to start thinking about this. I need to start putting myself out there. I need to be doing this, but not in a like I'm doing something wrong, but just like doing like stewarding things better, if that makes sense.
Oh, I love that. That was really heartwarming for me to hear you say all of that. And I can be like a bulldog, meaning when I get a vision, I'm like, clamp. And so I'm like, she's Miss Alaska. She's Miss Alaska. We got to get ready. Like this is happening. And so I am extremely excited for you and extremely on board. And I'm honored. I truly am honored that the Lord would bring you to my team. I'm beginning to see more and more of, even when we're building your business card, I'm like, okay, well, should we call you Queen Kaylynn? Because the program is a queen, and that's kind of prophetic. So everyone's going to be speaking Queen Kaylynn in my phone. You're now Queen Kaylynn. And so it's just cool to see the handiwork of the Lord. And I 100% believe that He is involved in the details of this. And it's a win-win, huge win-win. So let's chat a little bit about door to door. Some of our fun adventures that we've been going on in our door
Yeah,
knocking experience, which is always unpredictable and
it's
always
true.
always growing. And lately we've been having a pretty good time. So I want to brag on you for a quick second and share some of your jaw-dropping statistics. But for all of my viewers on the other side of this and listeners, this is absolutely possible for each and every single one of you. Kaylin has showed up in very humble, feminine energy when she's been going door to door. And she didn't know anything about my candle company until I sat her down in Sprouts for 30 minutes and said, hey, this is what it is. And then we go out and knock doors, So she's no expert. She has not created the candles with me. She's not been intimate with the recipes. She's just kind of stepped into this and she's created these numbers. And it's so possible for any person to do. In fact, Kaylin, I don't know if I shared this with you, but the first girl ever to go with me door to door was one of my best friends, and we were just going for fun. I'm like, hey, let's go on a little shopping spree and create the wealth door to door. And she's very intellectual. So her personality is very, very calculated and she's very confident, but she's not a natural saleswoman by any means. And so she created $66 an hour her very first time commission. So it is just so possible for anyone to step into this and just do really well. And so these are Kaylin's stats in particular, in no particular order. Well, I will say the most previous time we went was her best, I do believe. So 54 an hour is what she's created commission. And that number does not include a subscription. You didn't get a subscription on Saturday. So
Mm.
these are just sales. So she's just doing so good. The day before was $34 an hour. The weekend before was 45 an hour, then 39 an hour, then 52 an hour, then 33 an hour, 52, 32. So she's consistently right around $44 an hour. And in fact, in one weekend when we sold 2 days back to back, 6 hours maximum, she came back with $525. This is what she's created door to door. Now, some of that is, I would say maybe about 20% of that is donations. However, she would not have gotten those donations had she not been on the Beauty's vehicle, sharing her why and using essentially my product as a tool to get her why in front of more people. So all of this is either commission from the candle sales or a portion of it is indeed donations, which is incredible. I really hope that if you partner with Beauty, people give you all their money. Give them all the donations, God. So I just wanted to brag on her for a little bit. So Kaylin, go ahead and if you wouldn't mind, share a cool story that you might have from us selling door to door.
Yeah. So I want to say a couple weekends ago, it was my first subscription. And I knock on this lady's door and her husband opens the door. And like there's just sometimes when it's going to be a good house.
Totally.
And the older gentleman like opened the door, he's smiling at me already, and I'm like, okay, cool. Like even if they say no, at least it was like kind people. And so he said, "Oh, let me go get my wife." And at first I was like, "Oh no," because usually when they say get your wife, then it's usually a no. But so she came up and she was like talking to me, and we started talking about Esther because one of the candles is Esther. And so I'm like, oh yeah, Esther in the Bible. And um, so then she was like, oh, I really like this candle then. And then I was like, well, if you get this subscription, then you get all this other stuff. And like, she's, oh yeah, I wanted to get like Christmas gifts anyway. It's like Christmas time. So it's kind of like the perfect time. And then she ends up giving me the movie Esther, which I didn't even know was a movie. And I was able to text Casey to come because I honestly wasn't sure how to do the subscription part all the way. So she comes running, and she actually had met her before. And she was like a God-fearing woman and just like prayed over us. And then also got the subscription, my first subscription. And it was just like such a cool, like divine appointment almost. Like I was meant to like knock on this lady's door. So it was just really, really, really cool. And like something I'll probably always think about.
I have chills. Yeah, I remember this woman. I The first time I met her was door to door, and I sat with her for an hour, and I still remember the check that like she wrote a check, with my first
Mm.
sale. Um and so with my company with Beauty is the book of Esther is the plumb line of everything that I'm doing here. And so the fact that that was Kaylynn's first sale, I love that you brought up that story. That's so cool because yeah, she gave you, was it One Night with the King?
Yeah, it was that movie.
Such an incredible movie. And I believe I'm actually raising up Esther's as well. And Kaylynn, you are an Esther, and there she's giving you the book. You sold the Esther candle, your first subscription. She prayed over us. Yeah, it was a cool moment. It was a cool moment
Yeah.
for me. Thank you for bringing up that story. What have you enjoyed the most about selling with Beauty Is? And what are some lessons you've learned?
I think for me, I love when you get to make those connections, especially when you meet the people that are in the business you already want. Like I'm in tech school, so whenever
Mm.
I meet somebody who's also in tech, it's like, oh, and then I can get their contact or we just talk about it for a little bit. Or even just like people who are business owners or entrepreneurs or whatever themselves. It's really cool to like make that connection and even just like ask them for any advice or tips. And you're just like, yeah, they may not have gotten a candle, but they had given knowledge, and sometimes knowledge is like better than money, to be honest. And so I think that's been probably one of my favorite parts. I think the thing that I've learned the most is just how to present yourself. Like in a way that is like your authentic, genuine self is like first you kind of need to know who you are and then two be able to know how to present it because like first impressions kind of matter. And I think at first as I was trying to figure it out, I was like trying to like put on different personas and I was like, this doesn't really feel like me. And then I realized like once I just was me, that people were like, oh yeah, sure, I'll get a candle from you. And a lot of times it'll be like, I'm like, I didn't do a very good job pitching. I didn't say what I needed to say right. And that they'll still be like, yeah, I'll get a couple candles. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. That was easy.
I love
So I think that's probably the biggest lesson I've learned.
I love that. That's cool. It's so true. The networking is it's pretty unreal.
Mhm.
Yeah. I love that. Awesome. Okay. Or excuse me, it's kind of the final question here, unless there's anything else.
Mhm.
Would you recommend the Sales Queen opportunity to other girls and why?
I would 100%, and not just because I'm doing it, but because just the opportunity just to get to know Casey specifically is so helpful. Like the way that you are just like in it and you like want us to do better, you want us to like thrive. There's no like competition. It's like let's help each other out, which I think is really cool. but also the fact that you like walk your business with the Lord and like you're not only getting to learn how to sell and like market, but you're able to do that with Holy Spirit and learn how to do that from somebody who does do it with Holy Spirit. And so it just is like, even if you're not somebody that wants to be an entrepreneur or wants to do, I don't know, something crazy, and you just want to do it for like a season, the boldness and the skills that you learn is just so like helpful just in life. And so I think it's like such a great opportunity that one, you get paid to literally learn skills that are going to help you in the future. So it's kind of like you can't lose, you know? It's just like the perfect mix. Like you just like a win-win-win, no losing. I don't
I love
know.
win to the third. A triple win.
Yeah.
You make me feel so good. I'm glad I asked if I could interview you. This is truly such a blessing to hear all of this. And thank you. I feel like I'm gaining for sure a little sister in you. And
Hmm.
the girls that have sold with me in the past, I just have such an endearment towards them. I am in their corner for life. Like I believe in all of them. And so I do, I feel like I get little sisters in this process. And Kaylynn, you're precious. You really are special. God's hand is on your life. You walk in favor and you inspire me. I'm reminded in this moment when we did go to Chico, right? And we were both trying to hit our goal, and it was T minus 20 minutes and
Yeah.
start. And you had one more Aster candle to sell. And my only goal that day was one subscription. And I think it was my only goal. Anyways, I tried. And then I saw a text come through from Kaylin. She's like, I hit my goal. And I'm like, I have 20 minutes. I'm gonna get a subscriber. And I just went into this place in my mind. I'm telling you, bulldog status. But she just inspired me. I was like, oh, she hit her goal. And the next person, I think it was one or two houses later, I just didn't let him say no. Listen, are you in sales? Do you understand? And he was. Do you understand the value of clothes? He's like, I do. And anyways, you inspire me. You have been making me better. And I just appreciate that the Lord has brought you to my team for such a time as this. It is such a win for me, and sounds like it's a big win for you too. And that's,
Hmm.
God's in it. He is in the service of doing the win-win wins. One more win for the door-to-door sales queen program, not just win-win, but win-win-win.
Yeah.
And that, anyways, thank you so much, Kaylin. Any final thoughts, girlfriend?
Um, no, just thank you so much for wanting to interview me. I'm like honored. I'm like, I'm not even that cool. And you're like, can I interview you? I'm like, sure.
You're amazing. You're amazing.
So
And if people want to follow your journey with Miss Alaska, how can they go ahead and do that?
yeah, they can just follow me at Kaylin.Heineken, Instagram.
Cool.
Yeah.
Love it. And if you have any trouble finding her, you can go to my page or my Beauteous page and see who I'm following and search Kaylyn. That's Kaylynn. It's her first
Yeah.
name.
And
So
then Heineken, just like the beer.
just like the beer, ladies and gentlemen,
Mhm.
you hear first, straight from her mouth. All right. Thank you guys so much for listening to our interview today. God bless you, Kaylin. I'm excited for you to be Miss Alaska, and God bless America. And I hope everybody has a good rest of their day. Goodbye.
Bye.